Welcome to the Squeeze podcast. I'm Ashley Hitchcock Francis, and I'm here to give you the juice you need to build and sustain your career. We have a very special guest today. Isn't she gorgeous? Oh, excuse me. Let me get back on track. This is a person that I have known her whole life because she's my younger sister. I know we look similar in age, but she is my younger sister, Bethany Lee Hitchcock. She doesn't like that I say this, but she is single. Bethany, where do you live now?
Here, with you.
Oh, you can feel sorry for her. Leave your condolences in the comments.
Feel sorry for Greg.
Yeah. Yes. You should actually feel bad for Greg because he now lives with two of us. And that's probably a lot.
It is. I know it is.
So first things first, obviously people know I'm obsessed with orange. What are you obsessed with? Pink. No joke. Like, I don't know how we became these people, but we both like decorate and wear our favorite color. Like it is, you'll see multiple pinks because part of you being able to live here was that you have to be in the content. It's not written in the lease, but it's understood. Okay, where did you move from?
Kansas City.
Okay. Why did you move here?
Because I'm single. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, you've heard it from her now. We are getting really comfortable today. This may be the best podcast yet.
Where do we start? I mean, because a lot of me moving had to do with just wanting to be close to you. And it also had to do with like, it was the perfect time and opportunity with where I was at with my job and that opportunity and just being able to find something else.
There's so much that I want to talk about her career. Obviously it's hard to separate like our relationship, but like Bethany, I talk about like how people I'm closest to still use the squeeze like as customers. Of course, all people that kind of join the squeeze become friends. But like Greg was the first person that signed up for the squeeze. You were right after. Mm-hmm. You joined the June 2023 Job Juice cohort. Mm-hmm. And I want to kind of talk about that, but I want to rewind because my brain is like that. Also, I forgot to give a little ASMR. I have to do that. Yeah. It's nice. You can see we have our beverages. Bethany was one of the people when we talk about career, like mega life shifts from the pandemic. Yeah. You're looking at it. Went from being a server and lead and going, it like gave, well, how did that transition happen?
I also like to give a little bit of background of like, yes, I was serving for 6 years, but before that,
she has a background.
I was doing sales for a couple of years along with all the administrative work for the business.
Yeah. So very skilled and like very organized, able to execute, but had been serving for 6 years.
Yes.
So, yes. Okay. So what happened?
And then the pandemic hit. And also, so like obviously the restaurant industry was taking a big hit. Not necessarily the restaurant that I was at, but we did shut down for a while.
Yeah. Did they pay?
And then,
Oh, they did?
We were getting unemployment.
Right. The company didn't pay you.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
They fired us all so that we could collect unemployment. And then they used that
so nice.
To not hire certain people back that were very deserving of their jobs. So
they're a family.
Family. I think that was the only person not white brought back. Okay, I just have to say that. So, and I had to fight for him to be able to get his job.
So it was shut down. You were home for how long? Like
2 or 3 months.
Wow. Okay. it's such a blur. Like, I don't remember how long it was. So, like, and I don't remember, like, our first conversations. Like, what was your life like? What were you doing during the day? And how did you get to, like, I'm ready for something else?
Actually, that, like, I knew I needed something else, but it actually wasn't me seeking out opportunity. It was my friend Mallory, who was,
Shout out Mallory. I hope you watch and listen to the pod.
hey, Mal, love you. She worked at a place called Mano's Wine at the time. And this was like towards the end of the year, though, because it was holiday season. And I don't think that I actually started with them until December.
That's right. It was like full on holiday.
Yeah. And this was, so Mano's Wine is like a custom wine business and for etched wine bottles. This was actually, she was running the warehouse production, and she was like, hey, we could use some extra hands. Do you want to make some extra money? And I was like, oh yeah, it's the holiday season. I would love to. Plus, like, I'll see you every morning, so we can hang out. So I took that on, and I don't know anything but hustle. So, and this is like not like manual labor, but it was like a lot of work. And that was noticed within me. And I think a little bit of just my outgoing personality of like, I can make a friend with anyone that's around me.
And taking applications.
Yes, I need
New friends in North Carolina.
Yes, please. I am a little bit picky though. So I was hired on for like the month of December was the only, like, I was just going to be there for holiday work. When I think it was like we came up on that last week, the owner actually came up to me and was like, hey, we actually need someone in customer service. I think you would be like a great fit. Do you want to stay on? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So I took that opportunity and at that point exited the restaurant industry.
You went full time into logistics at...
Not logistics yet.
Oh.
I started customer service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, do I even listen?
So I did that. I was maybe doing that for, a couple weeks to a month. The other customer service rep moved and left. And then they were like, hey, you're doing so great. We have like another opportunity. Do you want to take on doing logistics? So
see, we knew we would get there.
Yeah. So scheduling the trucks, the shipments going in and out, getting the quotes from different brokers, stuff like that. I was doing really great at that. That was for all of like the wholesale, like trucks going in and out and the wine coming in. And then I don't know, it was all so fast. Maybe another month went by and the national wholesale sales rep quit.
And there's a pattern here.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that today.
Yeah. People were dropping. And that opportunity was presented to me as well. So keep in mind, every promotion that I'm getting, I have not left those other positions behind. They were just stacking stuff on my plate.
Yeah, I'm sure the pay was awesome.
So, yeah. So started doing that, was doing really well. This was pandemic time, so I was doing good in sales, but it would have been so much better. This was definitely, I needed to be traveling for this position, but nobody was traveling at the time. So I was doing the best I could and I brought them the biggest fourth quarter that they had ever had. Just couldn't come to an agreement on the commission that I was making.
Yes, because she negotiated well. Yeah.
When we talked about it, he was like, I would rather give you bonuses. Didn't want to tell me. Yeah. Didn't want to tell me what those bonuses would look like, but I was like, I'm selling so much. It's got to be good, right? Because he was talking about quarterly bonuses. Go ahead.
And she was friends with the outgoing person that had the role. So she knew his commission rate. So this is also like, let's talk about money more. Let's be open about what we make, share these things. It might be painful when you find out how much less you make or more, but it's important that we start to like find people we trust that we can share those things, because then how much they're trying to rip you off.
I was being fully taken advantage of. Yeah. So never came to an agreement. And at that point, this is, I think October. I guess we don't have to talk about the toxicity of that environment.
That's a whole other episode. So just keep in mind all the other episodes that we're going to get
to. By September, October of that following year, I was just like, I can't take this,
I mean, she was doing 3 jobs, so most of us couldn't take
it. And not getting compensated for what I deserved. I knew I was being taken advantage of, and that doesn't ever sit well with me. So I was like, okay, just get through this year, take whatever this bonus is going to be, and find something else.
I forgot about this part. Oh, okay.
So in my head, I had come up with a number.
We were all just like excited, right? Like this was going to be her first like commission bonus. Like it's like, you're excited. Like she had already kind of thought through like the things that were prioritized for her money. Like it was everyone was excited.
I mean, my sales were like over $1 million for the fourth quarter.
Just the fourth quarter.
I was given a check for $5,000.
And folks that are in sales, you probably know. Does that seem right? That is the mathing. So that was her data point.
Yeah.
To then be like, oh, okay.
Yep. This confirms that I am going to move on. So actually, the best relationship that I had was with a guy getting my quotes from. So he booked most of my trucks. He was the most reliable. We would always go back and forth. And I just reached out to him and I was like, hey, do you have any opportunity with you? Because you and I work so well together. And he was like, Bethany, I don't know that we have any opportunity. Let me check. And he did. I actually got a job offer with them. But he was like, I also have my best friend is a vice president at. Would you be interested in me passing your resume to him?
And this is how it works. First of all, it takes somebody that is like, what do you have to lose asking someone for a job? Like, hey, do you have any opportunities? They're either going to help you or say no or blow you off. And then that's a data point. You're going to know. And her resume was excellent because, well, yours truly helped with it.
Most definitely.
So you went directly to, like, they called you pretty soon,
They
right?
did, yeah. He passed it on. I think I was contacted. I want to say I was contacted that week. I did not have any insurance background at all, which an entry-level position at Logic, you don't have to. It helps, most definitely. But I definitely didn't. I also want to mention I do not have a college degree. So that is something like that really speaks volumes because I don't know anyone else in the company that didn't go to college.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, so started interviewing with, and gosh, that was a process. I went through 5 interviews to get on there.
And weren't some of them like lunches?
Yes.
Which is my least favorite. Like anytime I have to interview with food, and I get things in my teeth, like it's the worst. Okay.
Really what they're seeking is a personality fit for a team. So I was being passed around from team to team. My first interview was actually with my most recent boss's, his uncle worked in the company. That was my first interview. He worked in the agriculture department, and he was like, I personally don't know that we have room for you on our team, but I know you belong here. And my nephew works here. I'm pretty sure that they have opportunity on his team.
I wonder how his nephew got a job. Anyway, that's another.
He's also a lawyer and loves lawyers.
I'm not saying he's not talented. I'm just saying your network is how things happen, and some people have family in the network.
This is very true. So I actually, before I interviewed with someone who had split off into his own unit from Matt's team. I interviewed with him. It wasn't my best interview at all. I walked out of there like, I messed that up so bad.
We all had that interview.
Oh. And that is when, and then I went to a lunch. That was 3. And then I'm forgetting one. And then we went to, which is where I ended up. Oh, I think I had like a phone interview with TK.
Okay.
And then we went to lunch with the team. And I guess it was unanimous. I actually had to leave that lunch early because the wait was so long for our food. And I was like, I have another interview with Google. I have to go, guys. I am so sorry. And I guess as soon as I got up, they all looked at each other and they were like, I'll give her the offer immediately. And so, yeah, I think I got a phone call from him a couple hours later with that verbal offer.
I want to pause here because there is so much in that story. Like, and we haven't even gotten to, like, we've just gotten into her pandemic transition. Because I think it's another pod how we talk about from that to then how did you get here. But what I want to get to, like, your feelings and emotions.
Okay.
From, because you had the skill set, you had the knowledge, and like knew you could do those things.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it that, like, during the pandemic, you were like, okay, I can, I don't, what?
Well, I mean, I never wanted to be in the restaurant industry. Not that I didn't love it. I'm grateful for it. And I was able to stack a lot of cash doing it. But I knew that's not where I belonged. It was a very low point in life that took me to serving. And then it was just hard to find myself back out of it.
I mean, people make good money if you're in the right place and stuff. So, yeah, I get that.
And you meet a lot of people, too.
Yeah.
Like, I would get job offers like that all the time. But
Yeah.
it was nothing I ever wanted to act on.
Yeah.
I'm off track. Where were we going with this?
I don't know. I'm going to wrap us up, though.
Okay.
I think that this is part 1. I think this is actually going to be a couple of different pods because there's just too much meat here. Sorry, vegans. Too much soy. But we, like, I wanted to give that background before we get to, like, literally how you got here, because I think it's so important, as so many of us are, like, 2023 and then looking back, and there's just a lot that we haven't processed. Like, when I hear your story, it makes me think of my story, and I think about everybody in that time and how much has happened. And I just, if we need to take a collective breath. So this is going to be part 1. We'll have part 2. Now you've got the juice. You need to put it to use and come back for part 2. Okay. Cheers.
Cheers.